we referred to. Mr. Grabsky insisted that he would tape record his conversations with you, didn't he?
I'm going to start objecting to the relevance of this. None of this has got anything to do with any of the matters that are alleged in the allegations in the lawsuit. None of this is.
Well, we may get some discovery out of this. He told you he was going to tape you.
Your use of the word insist is a mischaracterization.
Okay.
After a period of time had elapsed, he said, by the way, I'm recording this conversation. He's got this pack of stuff like someone going to class. He says, I'm recording this. And then I knew. No, he did not announce, he did not preface the meeting by saying that.
Okay. And then what did you say?
A number of things having to do with the fact that I was being, well, I won't even characterize it. I do not recall what I said to the announcement of the recording.
And you played no role in the decision to have Mr. Grabsky arrested?
No, sir.
Is it funny?
That's a little bit outside my purview, sir.
I see. Well, I'm just trying to be
I apologize for that. It was
okay. No, I thought maybe you had something you wanted to tell me.
No, that was it.
Okay.
That's it.
Did you know that Tara Henderson was going to file criminal charges against either Mr. Grabsky or Mr. Candy?
I'm not aware that she ever did.
Okay. You filed some criminal charges?
I don't believe I ever filed charges against him.
On this occasion in which Mr. Grabsky said he was taping you, according to your testimony, was anybody else present?
Eileen McCoy was present.
And no one else, as far as you know?
The door was open, but I'm not paying attention. People going in at high traffic.
Yeah.
No one was there as a part of the group.
Okay. Now, during the 2006 City Commission election campaign, Mr. Watson actively supported the candidacy of James Lewis, did he?
If he did, I was unaware of it, sir.
Did you actively support the candidacy of James Lewis?
I do not, sir.
During that campaign, Mayor Calderwood actively supported the candidacy of James Lewis.
I'm not aware of such a thing.
Now, during the campaign, on at least one occasion, you kept James Lewis's campaign materials in your office, didn't you?
I did not keep campaign materials in my office. One of his campaign people brought by literature that he'd already printed and said, James is coming by later to pick this up. Would you give it to him? Because I'm the Nexus Clearinghouse for the commission. That's where the mail comes, etc. The banded, wrapped material was there, and he did come by subsequently and picked it up.
And you had it in view of the public in your office, did you not?
It was in my office, and for a very brief time, and I do not know of anyone in the public that, it wasn't paraded in the public, no. It wasn't paraded.
Well, you know that Louis Irby saw it, don't you?
He may have, may not. I don't know.
Louis Irby asked you for a copy of it, didn't you? Didn't
A copy of campaign literature?
of the campaign literature that you had in your office.
I do not recall such things.
And you know that Richard Hutchins, I think that's Hudgens, saw it.
I do not know Richard Hutchins.
You told Mr. Irby that these were personal and private, didn't you?
These what, sir?
These campaign materials for James Lewis.
If he had asked for that, I would have told him this is for the candidate and not for public distribution from this office.
Are you making that a conditional statement, or did in fact you tell him that?
I'll restate. I do not know if I told Mr. Irby such a thing.
Okay. Now, you later delivered those Lewis campaign materials to someone else for use in the campaign, did you not?
No, sir. I gave them intact to Mr. Lewis.
Gave them to Mr. Lewis himself.
I believe so.
Now, you kept the absentee ballot box in your office, didn't you?
Yes.
And the absentee ballot box was sometime left unlocked in your office, wasn't it?
Not to my knowledge.
On one occasion, Mr. Irby asked you why it was unlocked, didn't he?
I do not recall such things.
You opened the absentee ballot box each time you put a new voted ballot in it, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And the absentee voters who voted in your office were provided no private place to vote, were they?
They were provided a private place to vote.
Where?
In my office, in the hall, in any area they wanted to vote.
Is that private? I don't understand that. They could take it anywhere they wanted to take it? Is that what you're saying?
They could vote it in the office. In order for privacy, they could vote it at that point in time. There was a table outside the door where they could vote it when they were seeing.
And you were in there when they were voting?
I have been in there when they were voting, and I've been out of the room when they're voting. When they're voting, I'm taking care of my business.
Are you aware that Louis Irby complained to you about or complained to Mr. Watson about the unlocked ballot box?
No, I'm not, sir.
Okay. And you didn't hear Mr. Watson tell Mr. Irby to put his complaint in writing?
I can't with any certitude attest to that.
Do you recall that Mr. Irby made a complaint to you and Mr. Watson about not having a private place for absentee voters to vote?
No problem.
And you don't recall that Mr. Watson told him to put his complaint in writing?
No, sir, I did not remember.
Now, you familiar with the requirements of the statutes in terms of distributing and receiving absentee ballots?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. And are you familiar that the statutes require the person who's distributing the ballots to make a contemporaneous record of whom the ballot was provided to and the date that it was returned?
Yes.
That sort of thing. And in fact, you did not keep a contemporaneous log of that kind, did you?
Yes, I did keep the contemporaneous log.
And can you produce it now?
I don't know that I'm allowed to do that under the restrictions placed upon such a list by Florida elections.
Well, my question was, is it now producible?
It is producible.
And you have not brought it with you today?
I have not.
And may I inquire, is that on instruction of counsel? Well, I'll ask counsel. Is he under an obligation not to produce this?
I believe he is by law.
I'm familiar with the